Factor theorem. If r is a 0 of p of x, then x minus r is a factor of p of x. So let me reread that. If r is a 0 of p of x, in other words, if you put r in place of x in p of x, then p of r would be equal to 0. Then x minus r is a factor of p of x. And conversely, if x minus r is a factor of p of x, then r is a 0 of p of x. So we're going to use this to factor a quadratic equation, or even a third and fourth degree equation. In summary, though, x minus r is a factor of p of x if and only if p of r is equal to 0. The double arrow means you can go either way, and so it does kind of summarize in a shorter version the factor theorem. That if x minus r is a factor of p of x, this implies p of r is equal to 0, and if p of r is equal to 0, it implies that x minus r is a factor of p of x. Example, factor x squared minus 5x minus 6, using this idea. Now we could do it without, but we're going to use this idea. First, we need to find the rational zeros for this trinomial. Possible zeros are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, or plus or minus 6. They're all the factors that'll divide into 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 6 will all divide into 6. So we have to check out all, in this case, 8 different possibilities. So I did try them all. The 1, the minus 1, the 2, the minus 2, the 3, the minus 3, the 6, the minus 6. And if we go down the list, only twice did it come out to be 0. At p of a negative 1 was 0, and p of 6 is 0. Therefore, we can draw two conclusions. That x minus a minus 1, in other words, x plus 1 is a factor, and x minus 6 is a factor. So therefore, x plus 1 times x minus 6 equals x squared minus 5x minus 6. So this is kind of an interesting thing. We were able to factor it. Now we did have to try out all those numbers, although we could get lucky and find the zeros without trying all 8 cases out. But I put them all down so that we could see the results of this. So we use the factor theorem to factor a trinomial. We could have done that actually easier by just factoring it, but this will allow us to do those we can't figure out what the factors are.